following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, why every man in my thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't trust me, big up the girls inside the party, let's get down to crazy Jimmy, big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your one I wanna be, Jimmy Star's new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Star's.
Hey ho, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. We got a great show for you guys today. We got some really great guests, but before we, I'll tell you, we have Johnny Potenza and Ray Porter coming on. I'll tell you who they are in a bit. But before that, let's introduce my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell. You think we should be lighter?
We should be lighter? Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'll make us a little lighter.
Make us light and
say
bright.
hi to everybody.
We have to be light and bright. Jimmy keeps playing every week with the up. Oh, there you go. Now we look human.
Okay. Hey, everybody.
Now
here's Ron.
Hi, everybody. I'm tired. What a weekend. Boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, what a weekend. Oh, we went to Sean Kanan's book signing party at 3. Then we had dinner with Sean and Michelle. And then we went to Zack
Jaden's Christmas party.
Zachary Jaden's party. And we didn't get home till 5:30 in the morning.
And we've been tired ever since. And this is like 4 days later.
It takes me like almost a week to get back to being normal again. It really is terrible. But we have fun anyway. Now we have more parties coming up, and Christmas is coming up, and then New Year's, and then our party after New Year's will be I call it a crash party because everybody's so partied out they just want to crash. So we just kind of hang out, eat, drink, smoke. Those that smoke, I don't smoke.
Eat, drink, and just be with friends.
Well, I thought of smoking because Danae still smokes. My friend Danae.
Terrible habit.
Terrible habit. Nobody should smoke. Or drink, for that matter.
So we got a bunch of people in the chat room. Let's say hi real quick.
Hi to everybody in the chat room. Who are we?
Cindy Lady Lake's in the chat room,
Hi,
and Hub
Cindy.
Reynolds is in the chat room, and Don Hinton, and Jeff Caperton.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff. Hub Reynolds. I said that already.
How are you?
Let's see. Don, Lady Lake, Cindy. Anyway, there's lots of people. Teresa Sabin. We got a really fun show, you guys. We have Johnny Potenza coming on from Up Late with Johnny Potenza. I've known him for years in social media, but we actually met him when he was here for Michelle Kanan's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He was here staying with them for a week. And then we have Ray Porter coming on, you guys. And we met him at Sean Kanan's book signing Saturday. And he's an actor, been in a lot of things. But my favorite thing is the fact that he's Darkseid in the Zack Snyder's Justice League movie. You know, which for me, I collect that stuff. And he's got all kinds of action figures that I'm going to get for Christmas, whether I buy them or somebody else does.
You know what? I never had a son. I have 2 daughters, but I really didn't need a son because I think I've got one. He's like a little boy. You know, I was shopping the other day in one of the stores, and I'm looking at the dolls, and in this very expensive store, these dolls are like $300 and $400, little crappy plastic action figures. And the salesperson came over and he said, "Are they for you?" And I said, "No, they're for my son." I said, "My son collects these things."
I love them. I got an awesome thank you, Soho Johnny, at LA Comic Con. He got me a 32-inch Galactus, which is a really highly super coveted collectible.
$700 doll. Could you believe a piece of plastic costs $700?
I love it. It fits into my collection perfectly. So
I know, but it's a very extravagant gift for just a big plastic doll of some idiot thing that doesn't even do anything. Just stands there.
Anyway, I love it. My collection is phenomenal. We had a great time. We went to Sean Kanan's book signing, and we saw all kinds of people that we know. A lot of celebrities were there supporting. The name of the book is Welcome to the Kumite. It's the sequel to Way of the Cobra. He had some great things to say in it.
Oh, yeah. Sean read, parts of the book. And the parts that he read, he was so honest about his life, his early days as a Jewish boy in Pennsylvania, where people were kind of anti-Semitic, and how he had to fight his way through a lot of things. It's a wonderful book. I'm going to so enjoy reading it. And I think you would too. You should get it. It's interesting and heartwarming. I think it's his best book so far. And I've read all of Sean's books, but it is his best book so far.
I haven't read it yet, but it's
well, I haven't read it either. I've read it. Who has time to read? With Christmas shopping, doing the house, doing the garden, it's like a lot of work.
Then we went to dinner, and then after dinner, we went to Zack Jaden's party, and we saw everybody, a lot of people from our chat room that are
all of our friends that we know from,
friends.
People I make movies with and people we have as friends. It was just a fun weekend, really was.
Hub says our colors are popping. They love the fact that you, it says laugh out loud, my son.
Did I what?
It says laugh out loud, my son. And they all love Sean Kanan. Sean Kanan's great, you guys.
Sean Kanan is one of our very special friends. And he is he's not a Hollywood person. He still is that little boy in Pennsylvania, a hick. And that's what I like about him. He's a big superstar. He's sophisticated. He dresses beautifully. He looks great. But his soul is of a homeboy. He's like a farmer kid, a sweet guy.
Very cool.
And
so
Michelle,
of
course, I'm crazy about. Michelle is a super genius. She does everything wonderful. I mean, you have a problem. You talk to Michelle about it. She has an answer for it. She's so smart and so beautiful and so warm and affectionate and loving. Well, of course, she's Italian and she's from New Jersey. What else can I say?
Just letting everybody too know, next week is our last show before Christmas. So next week will be our Christmas show. We're going to work on bringing on some surprise guests, and I think it'll be a lot of fun like it is every year.
Everybody will be coming in to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. Actually, I can't wait.
Yeah, me too.
Speak,
Jimmy, speak.
I was just saying, I know they're talking about how great Michelle is too, Jeff Caperton, because
who's saying how great Michelle is?
Jeff Caperton says he calls her and she always gets
back. People that know Michelle will agree with me. Look at all the way we're doing like 1 million people. How does that happen on the television?
That's back there.
Yeah, but why are so many of us? Look at it.
That's a feature. Juan's probably doing that.
Oh, Juan, are you doing that? Because it looks like I look like a caterpillar. Look, I do. I look like a caterpillar with a head. Look, I swear to you. Or cobra. I look like a snake. Get rid of that, Juan. I don't like that junk.
Juan, make us look just one behind us. Can you do that? No, that's because you're showing your own feed. Oh, how do we do that?
What am I showing?
Because it's behind us.
What does that mean?
Oh, no, it's in the feed behind us, too.
It never did that before.
Yeah, it has. We've had it on a bunch of them before. I'm not sure how we get that off of there.
Where I look like a cobra?
Yeah, you look like a cobra. We want to welcome B. Claudia joined us. It's her mother's, I think, 90th birthday or something. I'm not exactly sure. So happy birthday. Oh, and I forgot to say, hey, Dawn Hinton, because Dawn joined us too.
Hey, Dawn, how are you, honey?
Hope everything that's on our end. Better. Let's see how we fix that. I don't know how we fixed that.
It's really annoying.
Let's see. Hang on.
Oh, there you go. See, Jimmy, you know how to do it.
No, I don't. I turned it off.
I'll turn it off.
Now I'm going to turn it back on again and see what happens. Anyway, talk while I'm playing.
Talk. What am I look like? A puppet?
Oh no, it's still there. I don't know how you fix that. That's because
now
you're
it's
showing
not
your
so
own
bad.
Feed.
Now we only see 1,000.
We've had that behind us though a lot of times before.
Yeah.
Yeah, just at this time because we're wearing such bright colors, it really shows up.
No. I mean, I've never seen it like that before. Now it's a little better. There's only about 6 of us. But when our guest comes on, then they get behind us. Right?
No, they'll be next to us. They'll be next to us, not behind us. I'm not sure. I'll have to figure out how to fix that because I don't know how to do it live while we're on the air. Anyway, so we should do our little ad stuff that we always do, you guys. You can hear the show on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Prime. We thankful for everybody tuning in every week. Last week's show was a lot of fun. Today's show is going to be really good too. And so we want to thank everybody for always tuning in and hoping everybody's having a great holiday season so far.
And part of my healthy thing that I'm on, no sugar, no processed food and stuff. Drink plenty of fluids, water. Wash out your kidneys. Keep your kidneys healthy. But drink tons and tons and tons of water. I have a thing on my lip. What is it when you have like skin on your lip that you bite all the time?
I don't know.
I think that needs citrus. I think if you put lemon on it or eat lemons, but I have so much lemonade in me. Maybe that's what I'm looking like, a lemon.
Oh, wait, smile real quick for B. Hey, everybody. So all is going good. I don't know how to get rid of that. I tried just now, but I don't know how to actually do it. I always thought that was done
I
on the
hate
other
biting
end.
my lip, but it's as annoying as anything.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, well.
What is that from? Anybody out there know? Please let me know.
Talk for a minute.
Now what are you doing?
I don't know. Let's see if I can.
Visual background. Oh, look. What is that, a kitchen?
I don't know, but it doesn't get rid of it.
Let me see what it is. What's that background with the piano? Oh, look. I like it. It looks like we have a piano. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Go up there. Get rid of it.
Oh, then I don't have a background. I got to go back to what we had
hit
before.
The X.
No, you can't. I have to go back to.
No, give me that friggin' thing. Hit the X.
I think I got to turn this back on.
No, hit that X so this picture goes away. Good. Now look at. Oh, I love it.
Oh well, I just turned this back on.
That's our house, folks.
Yeah.
And the baby grand piano I play every day.
We don't have a screen. Oh wait, hang on.
Look at that. How did you do that with somebody else's house?
That's just something that they give you that you can do, but I can't get rid of these little things
That's
around
okay,
us.
but look, it looks like we're in another house.
Okay.
Oh, can you put us like in a palace, a castle?
If you load pictures into it, you can put whatever you want behind it.
Do that.
Well, I don't have any pictures to do it. But next week we're going to do it in front of our Christmas tree. Oh yeah, it's Juan. I was playing on the back screen the YouTube live feed, but now I turned it off.
Look at this.
Now we have this background.
I've never seen anything quite like it.
You want to see what else they have?
No wonder I can make believe I'm in Paris or.
Yeah, if we put stuff behind us, we can.
I can put the Eiffel Tower and say, "Hey, everybody, welcome."
There's a brick wall.
Oh, I like the brick wall. Let me see that. Get rid of the X. Oh, that's nice. The brick wall, very Greenwich Village. Reminds me of
our guest today. I think he's from Brooklyn.
Of course, he's Italian. Where else would you be from? Brooklyn.
Do you want to keep that, or you want to go back to the house, or you want to go back to the snake?
No, I like the brick wall.
Okay.
Because look at it. It reminds me of New York City, Greenwich Village. When I was young, all of the clubs, they were like little nightclubs where people got up and did their thing. Everybody was starting off like Ellen DeGeneres and the other one. What's her name from Jane Fonda show? Lily Tomlin. All those people. Tiny Tim. I met all of them back in the day when we were all starting off, and it was fun. We were hip. No, we were not hippies. We were beatniks. Beatnik came before hippie. Then hippie went away, and now it's I don't know what.
See, this is what everybody sees.
Crazy people now. That's a nicer. Your monitor is nicer than my monitor.
This is one everybody sees. This is the behind the scenes one.
Oh, the people see that
this
monitor?
This is what they see, yeah.
Oh, I look better on that monitor. Oh.
But we could put a picture in here of Astro, and then we could be sitting in front of a giant Astro.
I got Astro on my lap. I need more Astro. What else have you got?
That's it. That's all they give you. You have to upload pictures. And when you upload the pictures, you see different things.
I could do a nude of me laying on a chaise lounge.
Yes.
That won't be attractive. People won't like that.
They said put a garden behind us.
A garden?
They said you always look great. They said put a patio with a pool, but it's like 50 degrees out. It's kind of cold.
Yeah, and we have all of that. We don't. Let's put something different, like Pompeii or
the Empire State Building.
Yeah, let's put New York behind me. Rockefeller Center.
We can't do that right now, though.
Oh, we have to find it and put Rockefeller Center behind us.
I didn't know you would want to do that, so we can.
I miss Rockefeller Center. It's probably the most beautiful part of Christmas is to go down Fifth Avenue and go to Rockefeller Plaza and see the Christmas tree, the enormous tree, and the ice skaters and all the angels and stuff. Astro wants to say hi. Hi. Say hi to everybody. There you are. Look.
Oh my God,
Isn't he
he's so
beautiful?
cute.
He is my love. Ow.
I think he's absolutely fabulous.
He's my love. Okay, let's get on with the show. Let's get. You know, I have to do something with my hair, folks. Should I cut it short, let it grow long, make it brown, make it red, make it green, make it blue, shave it off?
Anyway, our guest is here, so let's let him in and see if we can hear him.
Hey, where's our guest? Well, Yom, where are you?
Hey,
fellas.
Oh, if this guinea ain't from Brooklyn, I'll eat my hat.
What's going on?
Okay, so hold on, make sure I got all my volumes.
Jesus Christ, you got the map of Brooklyn on your mug.
No, so he has a fake background too. That's his like room where he keeps all his music memorabilia with all that Kiss shit because we did a test this morning.
So you're like me, you're an Italian from Brooklyn.
Yes, how you guys doing? Thank you for bringing me on the show. Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
We're in
We
Brooklyn.
can never tell.
Hey, you know what? He's lucky. I'm lucky because you ain't lucky because you're not from Brooklyn, you little faggot. He's from Florida. You know, he's a Florida.
Wait, we have to introduce him before we start talking.
He's a Florida alligator sissy. What?
We have to talk to him. We have to introduce him before we talk to him.
All right, introduce.
All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, host of Up Late with Johnny Potenza, also known as Johnny P. Johnny Potenza, hello and welcome to the show.
In the flesh. What's up there, guys?
Yay, we're so
Good,
happy.
good.
So you already know my cool, outrageous man about town co-host Ron Russell. I know you, man.
Well, we had a great time in Palm Springs. I told you, look like Tony Curtis.
Right, everybody told me that. But it's nice to hear somebody speaking English correctly.
Yeah.
And when you and I speak, we speak English correctly. The rest of them speak like, I don't know, some phony English.
You know,
right?
it's an understatement, Ron, because I'm not English wasn't never my strong point. So the Brooklyn accent, on top of not able to pronounce certain words, is like my slick. So, but yeah, we're one of a kind.
Something. If it wasn't for my Brooklyn accent, I wouldn't be in half of the movies I'm in. When they need a mafia killer gangster, they want a real McCoy New York accent. They say, get Russell. Nobody speaks like him. You know, I can clean it up. I can do it. I can speak very clearly and perfectly, and then I sound like a big old queen. But, you know, I don't like to do that bullshit. I like to be me. So what do you do? What do you do for a living besides make pizza?
Well, this I'm wearing. I don't make pizza.
Potenza, is that where your family's from? Potenza?
No, everybody asks me that. Potenza is my last name, and it's a town in Sicily, Italy, as we all know. But no, I'm from
Potenza is in Italy,
New York, Bensonhurst.
He's from Bensonhurst.
Oh.
Yeah, 72nd and 8th. Yeah,
we know. I'm a lot older than you are, so the people that I grew up with are all dead. They were killed. They were shot in the street, or they were murdered in their homes.
If you're from down there, my grandfather was Joseph.
I was from Red Hook.
Joseph Vitoli, my grandfather was. He was like he was a friend of ours, you know.
Yeah.
But he died in 1970, so.
Yeah, Bensonhurst. I have such wonderful friends in Bensonhurst who I really miss a lot.
Yeah.
True blue people, you know, no bullshit people. They tell it like it is.
Yeah.
If you're square with them, they're square with you.
That's how I am.
Brooklyn. You know, if I had a lot of money, which you need a lot of money to live in Brooklyn nowadays, I would buy something in Mill Basin or Bensonhurst, but it's in the millions.
It's crazy. The property value in Staten Island and Brooklyn is through the roof.
Well, you're in Staten Island now?
Well, I was in Brooklyn until I was 12, and then my father bought some property, and he built a house on Staten Island. So then I grew up there. So now I've been bouncing forth to the Jersey Shore, and I stay in Staten Island right now. So I'm like bouncing back and forth. Yeah,
I was born in the Red Hook projects in Red Hook, and I lived there until my father bought a house in Astoria, Queens, and then we moved to Queens, and my mother was never happy.
Yeah, no,
she missed the store, you know. She missed all the women. It was a family. Living in Brooklyn was a family. We all knew each other. Went to each other's houses to see Christmas trees.
This is a different animal, Ron. You know, from my old band NYB, my guitar player, one of my best friends. He lives in Jackson Heights, so I'm very familiar with Queens. Different town.
Yeah, but I lived in Astoria, but in my 20s, I only hung out in Brooklyn.
Got you.
I hung out with my old Brooklyn friends.
Yeah,
The
there's
Astoria people were okay, but nobody was like the Brooklyn people.
no.
I mean, I used to go to their house. The mother would say, "Ronnie, come in here. I got for you. What do you want? To sit down, Ronnie. I made a nice cavatelli. You want you want a pizza? What do you want? A pasta chotta. Sit down and make a coffee for you." It was
Yeah,
nice.
it ain't like that no more. God forbid you get a coffee from somebody when you go to the house.
No. Now my friends that are my age, they all have maids. And you go to their fancy schmancy houses, their McMansions, and they say, "Just a second, I'll have the girl get you a coffee." And I say, "Fuck you."
So hold on. So all right. So you guys, I originally met Johnny. Actually, never physically met him, but we met because we followed each other in social media. I originally followed him because we have a mutual friend, Sean Kanan, and I think Sean was promoting he was on your show.
Yeah.
And so I followed you, and then you followed me back. So it's been years, but we met at Michelle Kanan's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. We had a great time. You've kind of in the same business that we are all around because you're an actor. You've been in movies. You've got a talk show. Neither one of us are drummers in a band, even though Ron used to like sing. And so
Like sing, is that it?
You used to sing.
Like sing.
Well,
like sing means almost singing, you fucking idiot.
he used to sing.
I'm gonna kill him.
But it's different because you didn't sing like he sang in a rock band. It's different.
Yeah,
I sang in front of 350 people eating in supper clubs all over the Eastern Seaboard. You think that was easy? People drinking and eating, and me up there singing? It wasn't easy.
Nothing's easy.
Because if you didn't sing right, they'd throw an apple at you. They throw,
Well, I was trying to lead up to the fact that he's like a drummer in a band. He had a band, you guys. He started drumming. He was a drummer since the age of 12. He studied under Jim Chapin, father of Harry Chapin. Your band was called NYB, which stands for None of Your Business, which is so like New York.
Yeah.
Negative.
None of your business.
You're just jealous because you were
That's
born.
not negative.
You were
That's
born
what everybody used to say. They go, "What's the name of your band?" NYB. What does it mean? None of your business. But I was I don't know what. I was arrogant and ballsy back in those days. I'm more on the mature, arrogant and ballsy level.
How old are you? How old are you?
Me, I'm 55.
Are you married?
I'm actually widowed. My fiance, who was going to be my wife, passed away of breast cancer 4 years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I'd
Yeah.
like you to. I think. How tall are you?
Me, I was 5'8", but I shrunk down to 5'7". Now, doctor said I shrunk an inch.
Oh, so I can't fix you up with my daughter Deirdre because she's 5'10".
Yeah, I don't like girls that are taller than me because then I got to do some mountain climbing,
No, but I have my daughter Leslie, who looks like Michelle Pfeiffer or Grace Kelly, who was Miss Long Island, Power's #1 model. She's a gorgeous blonde with green eyes, Italian, of course. She cooks and cleans, and she's a homespun. She's no putana, and she's not a tomato. She's a nice girl.
That's the girl that I would date down the road if it ever happens again. They have to be really special and sent from the man above.
My daughter's so special that no guy is good enough.
Yeah, I could take care of myself. I'm a good cook. I could clean. I shop and do all that nonsense. The crazy life that I lead, I like to come home to a normal life, honestly, and just shut the door.
My daughter was engaged to a guy, Joe Diarchi from Brooklyn.
Okay.
And so my daughter's very smart.
Anyway, we're not setting up your daughter.
Shut the fuck up! I could get rid of you.
Oh no!
My daughter's 50. My daughter's 52. Go on her page on Facebook. Leslie Sarego, Sarego, and look at her. She's beautiful. She's sweet as hell. Everybody loves her.
All right.
Huh?
Where's she living?
She was born in Manhattan actually, and then we lived in Garden City. She grew up in Beverly Hills when we lived there, and now she lives in Palm Springs.
Okay. This is the dating game with Jimmy and Ron. So
yeah,
listen, you know what? Years ago, this is what the old guineas did.
Yeah,
they sat around. The mothers sat around the kitchen and they said, "Hey, you got a son? Oh, I got a daughter. Hey, fix your daughter up with my son." It's better than Did you go on these lines, these
No.
computer things with all these
Put it this
putans?
way, it took me a long time. I was devastated for years, and I could talk about it now. But she was my life, and to watch somebody go like that at an early age, at 45, it destroyed me. So it took me a long time to build myself back up again. Now I feel good. My main focus is I got to make it somewhere in this entertainment business, and I got to be able to retire comfortably down the road. That's my goal right now. If somebody comes in my life one day and it's special, then I'll make that move. But right now, I'm just focusing on that.
Well, my daughter's background is she handled all the business for Sharon Stone, for all the movie stars. She worked for Platinum Business Management in Beverly Hills. So all of these stars were her clients.
Oh,
so
cool.
my daughter knows the business back and forth. So it's not like you're marrying some moron.
He's not marrying anybody.
You never know. You never know.
All right, let's
We're
go on.
thinking.
No.
Meanwhile, everybody listening loves this kind of show. All my fans out there are saying, "Oh yeah, Ron, we want Leslie married." Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back.
Now let's hear it. So you have a talk show.
He has a show.
Let me go back for a second to correct.
Yeah, let him go back. Go ahead.
I don't call myself an actor. I did some film work, but I mean, I'm not one of these guys that does a couple of little parts. You see them, and that's all I did is independent films, background. Some big films, but you see me for 5 seconds. I don't put on my profile that I'm an actor. I'm a talk show host. I'm a musician. I'm a drummer. I am a character actor though. But I mean, if there is any directors out there that want the next James Cagney meets Joe Pesci, he's sitting right here.
So
perfect.
Wait. So you're a talk show host. That makes you our competition. Which makes
we do two different things. I do a
second.
live studio audience. It's like a low budget Johnny Carson meets Jimmy Fallon show.
Wait a second. Hold on. I'm going to drop a dime.
Okay.
And have your legs broken. You to be a talk show host. Get out of the fucking business. It's ours, not yours. You get it?
He doesn't stream.
You don't stream?
No.
We do it. I do a whole format, Ron, with a studio audience, small studio audience. I come out, do a monologue. I got a comedian come on, then we interview an actor or an author, and then the band plays. I usually get up and I play the drums for a song, and then we close the show out. But I like that. I mean, I tried this during COVID. It's not me. I like the vibe because I'm a performer as a drummer, because I was playing bars at 15 years old back in the day. So, I mean, and I can still play, and I've been practicing a lot. I mean, my main goal is just to see if I could get the back end to get this show onto a streaming network or a paid cable network that's going to give me commercial advertisers,
We actually know a lot of the people.
You don't do drugs, do you anymore?
No. I like to have a couple of drinks. I dabble with a little whiskey and a little wine every now and then, but business first. Play hard, work harder.
Yeah, my daughter did drugs or drink. I raised them really Italian. They have all the values that I was raised with.
So go back, hold on. So, because I wrote down okay, so then first of all, how do people see this? How do people actually see your show? Tell people how they see you.
Well, the easiest way for anyone to see it is just stream it either on YouTube or Vimeo.com, and or if you got cable network, it airs on LA 36 near you, and then all the 5 boroughs, and in Las Vegas on like Spectrum and Time Warner. It's around RLN and whatever else is there. They send it all around, but pretty much everybody's watching. They're streaming everything because who has time to really focus in on a certain time when it comes on unless you DVR it,
Right. So the website is.
I have to brag. We have now over 5 million. We had 5 million people. Now we have over 5 million. My producer tells us all over the world that watch this show. And I said, but they don't understand English. And they said, yeah, there are more English-speaking people all over the world than you can imagine. And we're a streaming show. All right, we're on the air 14 years, but still.
15.
50, fuck you, 50. You're always correct, but that's good.
So you're streaming back then? You're streaming?
We've been streaming for about
No. He had a radio
10 years.
show.
10 years we've been streaming.
I came on it as a radio show, and I hated it because I don't do radio. And I said, let's do streaming. And he fought with me, and I was punched him in the face in the car. But I jumped out at a traffic light, and started screaming obscenities at him. And then he said, "Get back in the car," and I did. And he said, "Okay, we'll do it."
We had a sponsor who got us started us streaming.
I started it. Give me the credit. Yes,
You started it, but I found the person to pay for it.
You know what? I don't know why I'm with this guy.
So hold on.
I felt it boring doing it by myself, but then when I talked to the guests, it was great. But it's good to do what you guys are doing and have a co-host, because then it's a little more entertaining and it's less work to do, because you can just bounce off each other and improv, you know?
It's really,
We improv everything.
Yeah, but it's really not less work because I got to carry this show.
Yeah.
Moron here just does the advertising.
Yes.
I do the whole, like I talk like personal. Where do you live? Here in LA?
No, he lives in New York. He
Oh, you're in
shows,
New York?
shows in New York.
You flew out for the Star?
He stayed there
Yeah,
for a week.
Sean's a dear friend of mine. Met him years ago at Grandpa's Comedy Club in Staten Island. He performed in 1997. I knew the owner of Grandpa's Comedy Club, the old Al Lewis's club from the Munsters. And then we became friends, and then as years we became tight. And then he's my brother now, and he invited me to come down, and he invited me when he came in, when he did the Walk of Fame in 2016. So I needed to get away. It came at a perfect time. I told him I was coming down to see him, because when he come down in October like last time. So it was actually 5 years almost to the date that I came down there. Now that I'm starting to travel again, because I'm ready to, kick ass whatever time I got left,
So wait, I got a list.
Both my daughters are not happy in California.
They want to go back.
They want to go back to New York. Leslie definitely is going back. Deidre wants to go to Pennsylvania. She wants to raise sheep up in the farm. She's nuts. But they don't care for California. California is not for normal people.
I like California, but certain parts of California, just like New York, it's going downhill, unfortunately. But Palm Springs,
LA is garbage.
Yeah, I love Palm Springs. It's so clean. It's nice. It's relaxed.
Not so much anymore. We got tents and we got beggars and people peeing and shitting all over the streets. We have a lot of garbage starting to happen here. It's just, the way of the world now, the new world they speak about. This is the new America. You can have it.
Yeah.
So hold on, let's get out of that. Okay, so we got the show. I'll wait with Johnny Potenza. Well, actually, a lot of the people that you've had on your show, we know or we've had, besides Sean Kanan, which that's how we met you in the first place.
Yeah.
We've had most on our show. Al Sapienza's been on our show. John Fiore. He's coming on in January. Apache Ramos, I know just because he's from the Warriors.
Great guy.
Noel, we've had on the show that we met in New Jersey. Davy Jones, Freedom Williams. I actually worked with Vincent Pastore on a film, and Frank Vincent. Shirley Jones, Ron knows.
Yeah.
Michael
Sweetheart
Beck.
of a girl.
Michael Beck, and then Steve Dash used to be a really good friend of mine. He lived in our station that we broadcast out of is in Florida, and Steve Dash lived in Florida. And plus, I'm a big horror movie fan, and since he was the first Jason.
We should ask Shirley to come on the show.
Gentleman. Steve was a gentleman.
Yes.
You had Shirley on your show?
Well, I didn't have him on my show personally. I interviewed her at the Chiller Expo in New York. Did you ever go to them?
Yeah, we went to one of them. It's in New Jersey, right?
Yes, there's New York and New Jersey, but this is the New Jersey one. And what the hell was it? And I think it was Hackensack or somewhere. One Hilton Court, wherever that was. I got a brain fart right now, but yeah, that's where I did the interview with a microphone. I really don't like doing microphones. I like sitting behind the desk and just coming out in front of an audience. But listen, you got to do what you got to do sometimes, right?
Yeah, we've got a couple really good interviews that we did with people at film festivals. Stephen Lang.
Yeah, great guy, Stephen.
And he was actually coming on our show, and then my dad died, and so he didn't come on the show, but we met him anyway.
Well, right now, he's got big again because of Avatar. There are 3 of them coming out. But Stephen is a terrific guy. He'll probably come back on our show when he has time. Terrific guy.
Avatar came out last week.
I know, but he's busy running around doing promo.
Yeah, we have to try.
He could come on now and promo the movie.
Who's your most amazing interview? Like, do you have an interview you thought, oh my God, this is the person I like interviewing the most?
And don't use my name.
That's a hard thing to do, but I can say the top couple. Joe Franklin was definitely great. The legendary talk show host, Joe Franklin.
I don't know who he is.
I met him once. You won't believe where.
Where?
At a Needix stand in New York. Remember Needix orange drink? It was on the corner of 59th Street. and
Yeah.
Third Avenue.
Yeah.
I went, and there he was eating I think it was a hot dog and an orange drink. And I went to speak to him, and he spoke back to me, and the Frankfurter was flying out of his mouth, and it was disgusting. He was a mess.
I'm going to
He
show
was
you
really.
this. Yeah, I know he was just funny. This is on my wall. Let me see if we can get this on. This is a picture. I don't know if you can see it. It's breaking up.
Yes, right there. Yes.
Right.
It was on my show. He signed it, but the funny part was I was in his office, and he was eating fried chicken, and I bought one. And I had a picture for him and a picture. I signed one for him for his wall because he told me to. And I go, Joe, sign this for me. He goes, okay, man, let me do it. I go, oh, it's easy.
Falls out of his mouth.
Sure, let me get it. And I'm aiming with this shit. His hands are all greasy, and he has. And then he crosses it out over here. It says, John, you crossed out a great talk show host. All the best, Joe Franklin. So I got there with fingerprints on it, and I just, I wiped them off. But that's a classic.
Telling you, when I spoke to him, he was spitting Frankfurter at me. I thought he was disgusting. But for those of you out there who don't know who Joe Franklin was, he had a television show a million years ago where he brought on all of the old vaudeville people and movie stars that were nobody anymore. And he kind of gave them a little shot in the arm so people would know who they were. That was Joe Franklin. And the show was called, I think, The Joe Franklin Show.
Yeah, but he started the talk show back at WOR back in the 50s, and it evolved into a talk show. But he's the king of nostalgia. I think to date it was like over 500,000 interviews. But I got to meet him like the last 4 years before he died. And the night before he died, I heard he was in the hospital. A friend of mine, Frank Morano, who's a big talk show radio guy on 77 WABC, goes, Johnny, if you want to go say goodbye, go see him. He was at the Mary Hospice in Sloan Kettering, and he was laying there, in hospice. And I'm like, Joe, how you doing? He's like, not too good, kid. And like he was in a lot of pain, and he goes, "Thanks for coming." I was in there about 5 minutes, and I left, and then he died the next day. I really got hurt over that because I look. He was like a mentor to me, and he taught me a lot of stuff, but not as much as that I could have learned. But he gave me enough to go out there and do his thing. He wasn't no Johnny Carson, but Johnny Carson wasn't Joe Franklin either. Like Joe Franklin was an encyclopedia. Johnny Carson was a man's man entertainer, and everybody watched Johnny Carson. Joe Franklin had a limited audience,
Well, he was on Channel 11.
Yeah, and then on Channel 9.
And Channel 11 was not a great station. I was with Shelley Winters the night before she died. She was in not a hospice, it was a private nursing home. And she had gotten very skinny. And I said to her, I said, now you can go back to wearing your sexy dresses, a good push-up bra, and look sexy. And she said, yeah, I'm going to do that. And as I left, I said, now remember, you promised to come on my show. And she held my hand and she said, Ron, I promise.
Yeah.
And the next day she died. I was so upset.
Yeah.
I mean, so upset because it's horrible to say goodbye to, as you know, I'm sure you're well aware of it.
So
when somebody dies and you know them.
So B. Claudia in the chat room. B. Claudia is from Germany, which I don't know if we had you say hi. Say hi to everybody in the chat room because they're all like writing notes about you. So just say hi to everybody.
Hey, how's everybody doing? What's going on out there?
There you go. She said that in 1997 they made a documentary about Joe Franklin. 50 million Joe Franklin fans can't be wrong.
That was excellent. That's on YouTube. Joe Franklin told me this. He said, he goes, once a celebrity starts to make it, and then they make it big. So like he used to see, like he started out Barbra Streisand. Once she got huge, and she used to see Joe Franklin, she used to cross the street. And she says, he said a lot of big celebrity names would like avoid him, except like Bill Cosby, Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby used to come back. Then you get guys that don't want to remember that they were broke. Or they had to be on like a public access show.
Sorry, they just rang our doorbell, and so the dogs. Somebody's delivering.
I see it now because I had a handful of people that made it big, like Pete Davidson, made it huge, forgot about everybody. You know,
You knew Pete Davidson before?
Who?
Pete Davidson. I was the first guy to ever do an interview with Pete Davidson. It's posted on YouTube. February 26, 2010. He was 16 years old.
That's a pretty big deal, though, to have interviewed him, before, because he's such a huge star now.
Yes,
Like
and
you can't get anywhere. You
my
can't
son
look
was
at any gossip rag without him being like on the cover of every fucking thing that there is, every publication in town.
But
so.
you know what
amazing.
I find the shit asses of today, the
Yeah.
jerks that think they're stars, the snobs, and they pull that shit. I
Yeah.
knew Betty Davis. Betty Davis was the most down-to-earth regular Joe you ever want to meet.
Yeah.
She hated people that were phony and stuck up.
Yeah.
Oh, if you came on the bullshit artist, she'd walk away from you. So there are I found that the major big stars of yesteryear were far more generous with the public than, I mean, like, look at these. Brad Pitt, he was on a movie. A friend of mine was on a movie with him, and they said that Brad Pitt wouldn't speak to anybody.
Really?
He did his lines and went in his trailer, came out and did his lines, went back in his trailer. I mean, who the fuck do they think they are? They're not. Today there's somebody, tomorrow they're begging for attention.
Yeah, no, that's what it is.
So wait, go. Okay, so he was one. Who are some of your other ones that you enjoyed a lot?
You know who was great that you guys, if you didn't have her, she was wonderful. She was one of the biggest reality stars, Big Ange.
I don't even know who that is.
Big Ange was from the Mob Wives. You remember when that was out?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
She was a character and a half. Then they gave her a spin off the Big Ange show, but she passed away from breast cancer.
That was Gotti's daughter's show, right?
No, that's Karen Cavano. She's one of the other mob bosses. It's not Gotti's voice. It was Sammy the Bull's daughter. Gotti's, right hand man who ratted out the crime family.
She had a TV show too.
I actually
Victoria. I'm talking about Victoria Gotti.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was a different one. All of these reality shows are silly. Back in the day, the mob would have never went for all of that shit. When the Gotti was around and the Columbos and all those guys, they would have shut those down right away. Like they almost shut down the Godfather back in the day. They call up to that and say, "Look, now we're not airing that mob wife shit. We're not airing that stuff."
First of all, let me clear one thing up. There's no such thing as the mafia, and there never was. So let's get that point across to everybody. It was the newspapers and publicity. There were a group of Italian people who were nice and took care of their neighbors, and they're lovely people. But
Ron knows what he's talking about.
yes.
But one thing, the Italian people, they didn't want anybody to give them attention. They did everything they could to not be in the limelight, not to be noticed, because they were not show-off people. So if somebody did something like a TV show about the so-called make-believe never happened mafia, they would be very upset and probably kill you.
Wait a second, because I wrote down that you.
Right, there's no such thing as the mafia. You know that.
Like John Gotti was very entertaining, but he brought down the Columbos, the Gambinos because he was a show off.
Yeah, but John Gotti gave more money to more people and helped.
Oh,
I
1,000%.
mean, I can tell you stories about women, people had children that needed surgery, operation, didn't have money, and they went to John and told John a story, and John gave them money. I mean, these guys maybe were tough and rough guys, but they had hearts of gold as well as hearts of stone. It depended on who you were and what you did. But
there was no mob.
There was no such thing as the mob or the mafia.
Funny, I was just trying to sugarcoat it. If I had to say who's my favorite gangster, I would say John Gotti. If my mother heard me say that, next time I see her, she'd hit me in the head with a pan.
Well, I will never even suggest that I ever met or knew him because
I never met him either. I like his style and I like what he did for the neighborhood. But he was, he showed off. He should have been a little more low key,
my father's generation. I have to tell you, my great uncle was Vincenzo Vincenzani.
Oh wow!
He had all the tablecloths and napkins in New York City back in 1910, 1911. He was the Black Hand. There was no such thing as the mafia. He was what was called the Black Hand. And anybody that didn't launder their tablecloths and napkins from him, they blew up the restaurant. They put it on fire. But that was because the Italians were so persecuted and nobody was giving them work and they were starving in the streets and they had to feed their family. So they had to resort to this sort of behavior in order to survive. Of course, as the years went on, the media and the press said, let's make up stories about Italians. And every Italian you know is Sicilian and in the mafia, which is nonsense because there is no such thing as the mafia.
So hang on. Go ahead.
Story says with Sean Kanan. He's funny because we had like this inside joke. We don't do it no more, but like years ago when I came down there, I go, let's. He goes, everybody thinks they're asking me, you're Italian. I go, make believe like I'm a connected guy. I go, so when you introduce me, say this is my friend Johnny Potenza. He's a friend of ours. So he did this back in 2016 to everybody. By like the next day, people are giving me free drinks. They're buying me dinner. They're giving me this. They're giving me that. They're like asking me stories. And me and Sean are cracking up. And I'm walking around like I'm the Don on a low key thing, but it was funny how everybody was like just like kissing up to me,
My father used to be a set designer for Broadway for the Lois Triborough Theater. Then my father became a union delegate for the Painters Decorator Union. And when I used to tell people my father was a delegate with Schoenfeld and all those guys, they say, "Oh, Ron's in the mafia." I'm not in the mafia. The first was no such thing as the mafia. And secondly, I'm not in the mafia because I'm gay. The mafia, if it did exist, would not have a gay guy in it. So get over that fucking story real quick.
But let me tell you this, up here with the construction, what you asked me for, what do I do? What pays my bills? I'm an old-time Italian plasterer, guys. So I do the old school Italian plaster that's in all the old houses, Ron and Jimmy. With the wood lath and the brown coat, the Venetian.
You do scratch first and then plaster over it. My father used to do that.
Yeah. We do the wood, the brown coat, scratch coat, 3 coats of white, lime and plaster polish. Boom. Hard work. I'm starting to feel it. I hurt my neck back in July doing the Palace Theater in Manhattan, and we were doing a ceiling for about a month, and then 3 discs popped. I'm just starting to get better now. I'm like 80% better, but it's a tough trade. Good money. But I'm trying to get out of it.
There you go. So hold on, because I wrote down that your first TV show that you did. So you've been doing the TV thing for a while. You had a TV show called The Gangsters of Rock, where you showcased local and popular rock bands along a backdrop of classic mob movies. So you like the mob thing.
Well, you want to?
Mob movies.
He was lying. He was making these stories up. There's no.
This is the deal. When I was with NYB. We did a lot of fun stuff back then. What you see back here was my old KISS studio. But if you look in the back, there's a desk. Let me see. All right. And we used to move everything out of the way. We used to sit the guests here, and we had 3 cameras, and we filmed it down there. So it was the Gangsters of Rock. And then I was known, my producer called me the wise guy of rock and roll because of my New York City persona. So I kind of went with it, the Gangsters of Rock. So it was gangster clips with rock and roll footage. And that's what the show was. It was a theme. It was like a street version of Wayne's World, but in a more cooler way. So I mean, it's all public access. I won some awards for it. Did that for about like 50 episodes, and then true story. I got suspended out of the public access station because this one guy was starting in with me, and then I told him I was sick of him, sick of his shit. And he goes, "What are you gonna do?" I go, "Let's go outside." So we went outside. And he was about 6 something. I pushed him. We started wrestling. They broke it up. And then they suspended me for 6 months. Then it went a year. Then it went to 2 years. And I had to get my lawyer, my entertainment lawyer. And I got back in there after 3 years. Laid low, learned my lesson. And then like 3 years later, I started the Late Night with Johnny P show. And I never turned back. And that's the story there, The music business got me in the entertainment business.
So, like our best show, I don't know if it's our best show, but our most viewed show was with John Barrowman, who was like from Doctor Who, and then he had Arrow. He has all kinds of shows and stuff. And when we stream, so when we brought him on, like when we brought you on, he was like making out with a blow-up doll.
Okay.
And kissing a blow-up doll. So anyway, we got 10 million plays on that one show. Because the guy's really popular.
Do you monetize? You monetize this, I gather, right?
We're working on it. Yeah, now we're working on it.
What makes our show happen is it's real.
Yeah.
There's no Hollywood here. Mm-hmm. Everybody, I tell people, when you watch our show, make believe you're in Brooklyn in the kitchen having coffee and Entenmann's crumb cake, and we're all talking with our friends. And
Yeah.
that's why we encourage our guests when they come on not to be Hollywood. Don't do that. I'm doing bullshit. Let Jimmy brag for you. Don't you brag because you look like an idiot bragging for yourself. Jimmy does that.
You got to be humble.
I'm the comedy relief guy. I do the jokes and the crazy shit, and it works because our show really is a reality show. It really is real.
You guys are funny together. You got a good chemistry.
Yeah, and when I fight and call them names and stuff, that's all bullshit. We just do that for the fans because they love it. I get fan mail saying, "I love when you fight with Jimmy. You are hysterical." They love it. They love it when I call him Fig Mary Bottom Bitch. They love it.
So you got the same. You got the same hair as my father. He was a plasterer, but then he went to be a cop. Yeah, he was a cop for 2 years, and he was a New York City firefighter. They retired. And then when 9/11 happened, he volunteered for a month. A couple of years later, he got cancer. 5 years later, he passed too in 2009. Good guy.
How old was
66.
he?
Oh, very young.
And when did he die? How many years ago?
2009. He was an awesome dude. He went to New York High School.
How old would he be today?
About 80, about 60. Close to
I'm 82, so I probably I maybe could have met him.
Okay, you would have loved him. Knock around guy, my brother.
So go on a bucket list, like a bucket list, like you've interviewed a lot of really cool people. We've interviewed a lot of the same people. If you could interview any male and female on the planet, like who do you want to interview that you have not interviewed yet?
I would just love to interview every A-list celebrity and B-list celebrity and up-and-coming local celebrity out there. But I would love to get Stallone and Leonardo DiCaprio, De Niro, everybody,
I love it.
I spoke to Stallone in a movie lobby. We were waiting to go in. I was with my daughter, the beautiful blonde. He's like, I don't know, retarded or something.
Hey, Rob.
I was talking to him and he just like was. What?
It's amazing because did you see his new series, Tulsa King?
I haven't seen it because I don't have Peacock. I'm playing Paramount.
I'll give you my password. I'll text it to you. You guys watch it. It's excellent.
I have a good Stallone story. My friend Barbara Lux was an interior designer, and she was doing this doctor's house up in the hills. Sylvester Stallone lived next door, and they were doing construction. So all the rats in the hills got loose, because they were digging. And Sylvester Stallone was sitting on his front steps with a rifle shooting the rats. This is the truth. He would sit there with a rifle and shoot rats. So I thought the press never wrote about it.
I would like to actually though interview him too because
there's no interview. There's no way you're going to get anything but.
I don't know about.
No,
that.
He doesn't create.
I would like to get John Travolta. I'm a big John Travolta fan, and
he never shuts up.
What about chicks? So if you what are some of the female A-list actresses that you like?
I really like as a woman, young generation. I think kicks ass. That's really good. Is Miley Cyrus? We
love Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, I do.
Ron saw her on New Year's Eve a couple of years ago, and she was dressed like a Hollywood, really elegant and stuff. And Ron was like, "Oh my God, that's so great!"
It's so nice to see them women. Remember when the Gumadas, what they used to look like years ago in Brooklyn? Everybody was dolled up with jewelry, beautiful fur coats, gowns, men in tuxedos, suits. Today, they all look like pigs. They look like slobs, like they were working in the fields. Horrible. And my
mother had a fur coat that she was giving away, and my little cousins in their 20s, they didn't want it. What am I going to do with this? I'm not going to wear it. $10,000 mint coat.
You know how stupid they are today, the young people. You're young only once. And if you don't make yourself beautiful when you're young, when you're old, I don't give a shit what you do. You're never going to look beautiful. You're always going to look old beautiful.
They don't care what they wear. They have the phone on them. That's it,
No, do not waste your youth looking like a slob because you'll never get it back. Dress beautiful young, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I love it.
What's your favorite pasta?
It depends on my mood, but I mean, I'm a regular basic guy, but I like regular, meatballs and pasta and rigatoni and meatballs, but I mean, I like alio with shrimp and alio with like scallops and alio and oil. It all depends on my mood. Chicken
My,
parm.
my daughter's a great Italian cook.
I do a great course. It simmers for 6 hours, 5 6 hours.
What,
I
are you
drink
Sicilian or Napolitano or Sicilian?
both.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm Napolitan and half Sicilian, half and half.
well,
How do I look over there? Because over here it looks like I'm white as a ghost. It looks like I got a cold.
No, you actually look like you are suntan from our side.
No, you look Italian. Give me a break. Are you kidding?
No, it is.
Literally on your map.
I'm a little overweight these days, but
well,
what are you gonna do?
You know what? Not sugar. I did. I lost a lot of weight and I feel great. That shit.
Well, that's
sugar,
what I heard you talk about, the whole sugar thing with you guys.
I mean, really, give the processed food and the sugar. My brain cleared up. I have more energy. I feel younger. I mean, how could you feel younger than 82? But I do. But eating crap food. No, he eats garbage. He's going to be dead soon. But I'm going to insure him big.
So wait, so you didn't do any you're not an actor, but you are a character actor. But just in case anybody wants to check out any of these things, I wrote down you made a movie called Made in Chinatown that has fucking good people in it. Fifth Borough, which has a lot of really good people in it. The Irishman.
Yeah, the Irishman. Yeah, well, not an extra. I play a day player. So Ellen Lewis.
Feature.
Who Ellen Lewis is, right?
Yes.
Ellen Lewis, biggest casting director around. She saw my show in Manhattan, and then she says, "I want to get this guy in the movie." So they contacted me. I thought it was my friends busting my chops. So I called the office. I said, "Okay," and then she told me, "They go, Ellen Lewis wants to talk to." So I get him on the phone, and then I go, "What?" And then then it was her. It's like, I go, "Why me?" She goes, "I saw your cable show. We're looking for new faces for the future, and you got a character actor, look." And,
I mean, that's a good movie, Irishman. That's like really big.
Let me tell you something. If you lived here in California, I wrote a movie about a woman that's a bookie and her husband's supposedly the make-believe mafia, and it would be a partner for you. You could have played because I'm only casting people from New York with real New York accents.
Did you film it?
Huh?
Yeah, we're working on it now. Michelle's directing it. Sean's in it.
I'll come out there and I'll fly out there. But the thing is with the Irishman, let me finish the story. So I did 2 big reads with her. She gave me this part for Skinny Razor. A lot of people auditioned for it, but I didn't. That was my first really big interview audition, so I was nervous. But she wanted to keep me in there, so I was credited in the credits as Wise Guy number 3. I'm the wedding scene. But you see me, they focus right on my face. I was 5 feet away from De Niro, Pesci, and Katrin Narducci is a dear friend of mine. De Niro didn't look at us the whole time. I saw him. He finally looked over. Like I wasn't, because I don't stare. But if I went like this, and he looked at me, and I went like this, and he went like this, and then he went like this. He gave me 3 seconds of his eyes, and then that's it.
Did you meet? We had a friend on that movie. He's an extra, Thomas Benefucci.
Okay, I don't know.
Ben Viega.
I don't
know how you pronounce his last name.
Benevian.
Wait, though, you did some horror movies too, though. I wrote down Bound by Debt, Jersey Shore Massacre, A Cold Day in Hell. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 7 movies.
In my movie,
well, there's a couple of the independent ones. I got lines and stuff in them and stuff like that. Yeah, but put it this way: if I really put myself out there all those years, I would definitely have a lot of credits and maybe be halfway somewhere. But the thing was, I spent half my life in the music business. I had a record label called Shinebox Records. Once that all fell apart, we had to close shop. By the time I was almost about 39, I had to start life all over again. So the last, say, 15 years, I've been breaking my ass in construction. And if I were to put that down and go full-time and try to do auditions and make it as an actor, most likely I'd be poor or be in the street down the road. So this public access allows me enough to have a platform and work in the meantime, and then hope for the best. Right. And I came back to life, so I'm ready to work hard this next couple of years, and hopefully with the will of God, I'll get my dream come true one day. We'll see.
If you come in my movie, you'll play Fingers. That's your name. Yes. You're
what do I do? Cut fingers off?
You're a pickpocket.
Okay, that's cool.
And the mob boss calls you Fingers.
Okay, listen.
I think it'd be perfect. As I said, my movie, I hate when people try to imitate our accent. They sound like stupid idiots. I hate when they do that fake New York accent. I want to puke. So
You have to hang out with me. You'd have to hang out with me for a couple of days, just us, and see really how my personality is. Sean will tell you what you see is what you get. But we're from Brooklyn.
That's the Brooklyn thing. Everybody from Brooklyn is that way. No, but we don't like bullshit artists in Brooklyn or fancy schmancy people who think who the hell they are. Brooklyn people are very down to earth.
But you know
Lady Kazan is from Brooklyn, perfect, and everybody in the whole cast is all New York, Brooklyn people practically.
But you know what I'm talking about, Ron? There's some people that overact, even though they're already Italian. Brooklyn, they go, "Hey, forget about it." They do. It's too much, and it's like it's overwhelming. Those are the people we call them bean shooters.
No,
what do you call them?
Bean shooters.
Bean shooters.
Right. Nobody could say forget about it like we do. Forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it.
I mean, forget about it. I mean, nobody can say it like us. Nobody. They try, but they sound like they're constipated.
Like in Donnie Brasco, right?
Right.
That was a great movie.
No, I think you know what? Sometimes I lose my Brooklyn accent, and I say to Jimmy, "Got to go back." I go to Brooklyn for a day or two. Guess what? My accent, like now, my accent is thick talking to you.
With the California people, I noticed they love the New York City accent.
Brooklyn accent. New Yorkers talk very nice. New York, Manhattan people speak like television people.
A little different.
Brooklyn, Bronx people don't even talk. Bronx people talk ignorant. They're stupid. They just don't use any proper grammar. But Brooklyn people use proper grammar.
He said that's him.
So you're not from the Bronx. You're not from the Bronx. You're from Brooklyn.
No, from Brooklyn. Everyone from Brooklyn is in Staten Island. So I moved into an area called Princess Bay on the South Shore. It was all mafia orientated. That's where the guys.
Stop with that word. There's no such thing.
But they're all dead.
No, there never was. There never was. It's all publicity. It was that drag queen. What was his name? The head of the AI, the tranny, the cross-dresser, Hoover, not Hoover. What was his name?
Yeah, Hoover, I think.
Who was it? The FBI guy.
Hoover.
Was it Herbert Hoover?
Herbert Hoover.
He was a tranny. He used to dress in drag, and he had his boyfriend with him. He's gay as a lark, and he was so bitter because he was gay, and the Brooklyn people used to call him, faggot, and he got upset. So he said, "I'm going to create the word mafia and make it up and ruin it for all the Italians."
Do you know Jack O'Halloran?
No.
So we have to introduce you to Jack O'Halloran. He lives in Florida though, but he wrote a book about it. And his father,
supposedly,
his father's Albert Anastasia.
Okay.
Supposedly,
and but he's also really famous. He's really famous because he was like the bad guy, one of the bad guys in Superman, and he's in King Kong. He's in all these movies, which he basically said he got in because of the
movie I saw last night with the Robert Mitchum, Marlowe, Detective Marlowe.
He's in a bunch of movies. When we had him on, I've known him for many years, and when we had him on, he basically the mob that doesn't exist is basically how he got into Hollywood. They put him in all those movies.
Yeah. Hey Ron, did you know Robert Mitchum?
No, but my buddy Jane Russell, who was my dearest friend in the world, she hung out with Mitch. She called him all. She loves him. They were good friends.
We watch a lot of his movies.
Yeah,
he's a good actor.
I know about him because Jane and I used to talk about him, and she used to say to me, Mitch was a lot like me. Mitch didn't like fake people. He was very, very outspoken. He didn't have a filter. Robert Mitchum would say whatever he felt like, whether you liked it or not. He was a true blue guy. And she also said that she drank him under the table, and boy, could he drink. Yeah. Jane and I were friends, buddies, like brother and sister for many, many years. Mm-hmm. She was a terrific lady. I love her a lot.
Yeah.
So real quick, I just want to give out some stuff because we only got about 5 minutes left. So you guys, if you can find out more about Johnny, you can follow him on Instagram. It's Up Late with Johnny Potenza, Potenza. His website is johnnyptv.com. I like the whole Johnny P thing a lot, and like everybody knew. We have another friend named Johnny Parati, and he was like, "Oh, what a great name this guy's got!" You know, when I put the thing up on Facebook.
Johnny
and stuff.
Parati,
there we go,
who they throw off
JohnnyPTV.com.
every day. They throw him off Facebook.
Oh, he's one.
He's in Facebook jail
all
like
the time.
like all the time.
Of course, he's an outrageous Republican, and he talks about it. And Facebook, you're not allowed to be a Republican. You know that. You have to only be Democrat on Facebook.
I get in trouble walking outside my house, but I never got into trouble on Facebook.
Oh, so wait, okay, we got a couple of minutes left. As a band, did you open for anybody big ever?
Yeah. You know, I opened up for, you know what, my idols were Kiss. My first Kiss concert was in 1977. The Kiss Love Gone Alive 2 tour. My father took me. But after that, I knew I wanted to play the drums. But as years went on in the 80s, Kiss broke up as we knew. But in the 90s, Peter, Chris, and Ace Frehley, who were the original members, were touring solo. So I got to open up for my idols a couple of times. Then we opened up for Twisted Sister and guys from Guns N' Roses and Cinderella and Quiet Riot. And then that band was Barrage. Then the band broke up, and then we started NYB in 95. But Richie Scarlett, who was Ace Frehley from Kiss's guitar player, produced 2 of our records. You can set them on iTunes. I get royalty checks every couple of months, $8, $20. But you know, we never made it to the radio. But
I got one for 69 cents.
Before Ron was on the show, before I was with Ron, the show was around, and we actually had Richie Scarlett on back in the day, like a long time ago. And we actually met him at Chiller. We actually met him at Chiller.
You got to get Richie back on. He has a new book out, released in the UK, that's coming to America now. It's the Richie Scarlett story. It's like a 350-page booklet of his life and pictures. I'm having him on the show in a couple of months, but I could tell him to email you guys.
Yeah, we'll totally have him on. He's great.
Do you know the Wise Guy Show?
Yeah. I was talking with them the other night.
We love them.
In the summer, they do this wonderful Italian festa in Jersey. And I missed this year because we got screwed with work. But next summer, I'm definitely going. So you got to come too.
Yeah, definitely. Freddie's a good friend.
I'm bringing my daughters. Like maybe I could get rid of my daughters there.
No, we love Freddie. We went to the event. They've all been on our show. Ron's been on their show.
I love those guys.
Do you know Al Bandero?
Yeah. Well, I don't know him personally. I'm trying to get in with him. I just only met him a couple of times, but I know friends who know him.
Okay, I'm actually producing a movie with him that we're going to shoot. That we're going to shoot in New Jersey. We get it more organized.
I can't wait to get back east.
Yeah,
I love it.
There's nothing like it.
All right.
There's a restaurant in Brooklyn. I won't. Doesn't matter. Next to the funeral parlor where they used to put all the people they killed. They used to put the funeral. Italian restaurant that I have to go to. You know what I'm talking about? It's over on. It's in my mind. Wait a minute. It's in under the elevator.
Patrici's, you know.
Anyway,
we got to go anyway.
Best Italian food in the world. I can't wait to go there and eat Italian.
Oh, too. We have another mutual friend, Mickey Burns. Mickey Burns was just on his show Saturday.
Oh, Mickey's a good buddy.
We love Mickey.
Mickey's the man.
Yeah, Mickey's a good guy. He's a pal of ours.
So you guys,
we got to shout out.
Go ahead, shout it out.
Yeah, Elaine Shapiro. I'd like to say hello.
Oh, Eileen. Yeah, hey, Eileen. Yay.
Sorry, Eileen Shapiro. Hopefully, I'll be talking to you in a couple of months, and everything looks good with you guys. I'm glad I got to meet all of you. It was a pleasure meeting you guys.
I'm super glad with you. So you guys follow Up Late with Johnny Potenza on Instagram. The website is johnnyptv.com. It's just the letter P. Follow him on social media. He's a great guy. We're going to be doing stuff together in the future, and it was great having you on. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you soon.
You too, guys. You guys are great class acts and love, and Masters, Happy New Year, and I'll see you in the new year, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And your accent is music to my ears.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. What are you talking about?
Thank you, guys.
What are you talking about? Give me a break already, huh? What are you talking about?
Sean Kane and Michelle, I love you. I'll see you later.
Absolutely.
See you later, baby. Merry Christmas. Buon Natale. Buon Natale.
Bye-bye, Johnny.
Later.
Bye, Johnny. What a great guy. See,
all right.
Brooklyn people, really wonderful people.
Real quick, you guys, we're going to take a quick music break, and then we're coming back with our second guest. This is CeCe Peniston. The name of the song is Are You Ready? I think you guys will like it. Check it out. Here we go. Take it away.
CC's on, my CC?
No, the song.
Oh. I thought CC was on.
Enjoy it, you guys, and then we're going to come back with Ray Porter. Here's CC Peniston. Are you ready?
Are you ready? Are you ready for love? 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 Are you ready? Are you ready for love? Ready for love? Are you ready for the day when love is away? When there is no more war and poverty? Are you ready for the day when love is away? When everyone will finally be free? Are you ready for the day when love is away? Imagine just how happy we will be. When love is away, there will be a brighter day for you and me. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for love? Are you ready? Are you ready for love? Are you ready? Love. Are you ready for love?
everybody. That was CC Peniston, great friend of ours. We love her.
So crazy about CC as a person. I love her to death. She's the nicest girl in the world, and I love her voice, and I love this song. And of course, my favorite is her song, Finally.
So now we're going to bring on our next guest, everybody. Hopefully we can hear him and everything is good. Let's see. Hey, Ray.
There you are.
Hey. How are you?
So you were dancing, I heard.
I love CC. Are you kidding me? Come on. I mean, I need a mirror ball in here.
I mean, you know her personally?
I do not. You do.
Oh,
yes.
And I got to tell you, if you met her in person, you'd love her more. She's the nicest girl in the world. She's really nice.
There's so much joy in her music. And, you know, I associated with a time when I was much younger, but a lot of the grownups around me loved CC. And so, you know, I heard it a lot. And yeah, wonderful stuff.
So hold on, let me do an intro. All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the amazingly talented Ray Porter. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello, gentlemen.
Yay! So
I thought I would dress appropriately because I looked at a couple of your previous broadcasts, but Ron is like resplendent, and I should have broken out, you know, something else here.
No, you're fabulous. So I have a question. So first of all, everybody, we actually, you know, most of the time we bring people on that we've known a long time. We just met Ray Saturday.
Yeah.
He was at Sean Kanan's book signing for Welcome to the Kumite, and Ray had just met Sean in Dubai as they were both over there signing autographs because they're both like famous superstars. And so he was on the show, but he had like really long hair. So you didn't cut your hair, right? All you did was have
it's all tied back.
Okay, because he's got long like hair, and it was freaking. So it was great meeting you. And how was it being in? Oh wait, so you know my co-host Ron Russell.
I do.
Say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hello, everyone in the chat room.
There you go. And they're saying that you're a narrator and that they love your voice. I mean, they like.
Oh, that's lovely.
We have a lady. Say hi to B. Claudia. She's in Germany.
Hello, B. Claudia. Wie geht's?
And she's she's in Germany, and she like basically like is when she's in the chat room, she like knows everything about everybody who comes on, and she like lets
Michelle
us know.
Kanan said the food in Dubai was stupendous. It was
the
outrageous.
food in Dubai was absolutely astonishing. There was an Uzbeki restaurant that we went to that was unusual and just brilliant. And then the Lebanese restaurants and just, I mean, if you like to eat, go to Dubai.
Yeah, no, I can't eat.
Now you just cut out sugar, like we're cutting out sugar, so now there's nothing to eat.
Foods and garbage.
Nothing processed in a nice shawarma, and there's no sugar there.
There you go.
Well, if there's no sugar in it, yeah.
And they love it. So wait a sec. So you're, I know you're an actor, and are you? And you narrate like audio books and stuff. Are you? And you obviously because you're Darkseid. But yeah. Do you do like a lot of like video games and cartoons and stuff too?
I've done some video games. I would love to do cartoons. I've appeared on a couple of animated shows, but it'd be great to do that regularly. Just the challenges for an actor doing animation that's rich territory. I'd love to get in there.
Yeah, it's very rich territory.
What did you do to get invited to Dubai? Because I want to learn so I could get invited to Dubai. Seriously, what is it you did?
What happened was I was cast in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and then the story of that film. There's a lot of drama around it. Zack stepped down from finishing the film for family reasons after a tragedy, and Joss Whedon took over. Joss Whedon reshot a lot of stuff and redid a lot of stuff and changed a lot of things around. And at some point, I was no longer in the movie. The fans, when it came out in 2017, the fans really did not like the film. And there started to be this rumbling, and it's all down to the fans, that they wanted to see Zack Snyder's cut of the film, and it gained more and more momentum. And suddenly this very vocal, very tenacious group of people were getting a platform, more or less, and being listened to, I think, in many ways. And they were really persistent. And eventually Zack was given the green light, I guess. I don't know how all that stuff works. It's way above my pay grade, but to release his cut on HBO Max. And so I was back in the film. And at no point, the one thing that I feel I really love the fans of this, because at no point, there was speculation. I heard Darkseid was in the movie. Darkseid is a huge character in the DC Comics world, and people were banding about, well, who was it? Was it Benedict Cumberbatch or James Earl Jones, or who did this? And I couldn't say anything, of course, because I was under an NDA. When it became apparent that it was me, there was nobody from the fandom who was like, who are you? They just were like, welcome, open arms. And so I really owe a lot to these very persistent, very vocal people.
So first of all, wait.
Without being modest, you think you made the film happen?
Do I think I made the film happen?
Yeah.
No. I think that, it's a joy to work with Zack Snyder, and it was great to get to know these fans and to interact with them. But it was the fans who made the film happen. It was obviously Zack and his team in completing his cut that made it happen. I had my part in it and was proud to do that. I got to work with Kieran Hines, Peter Guinness, two brilliant actors. And I was very proud of that. And so to have it come out,
you're fucking Darkseid, dude. Like, that's a fucking huge character. I mean,
to be the first live action Darkseid. And I mean, I'm joining, a pretty impressive list of people who played him before in animated things, Michael Ironsides and Jonathan Adams, and some of the, some amazing actors.
Sorry, forgive me.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people out there are stupid like me. What the hell is Darkseid?
There's nothing stupid about it. I didn't know either until I got cast. He's a sort of an uber mega villain in the DC Comics world.
Uber villain.
Oh,
yeah. So he's like the big bad. He's a god. He's like, really terrible. Comes from a planet called Apocalypse.
Okay.
So, kind of does what he says on the tin. And I didn't really know a lot about him either until I was cast.
That has to be a fun role to play.
So much fun. So much fun.
So I have questions. First of all, okay,
yes.
So and we'll talk about all the things that you do. But since so I basically collect superhero stuff, and I
love that
stuff. And now that you've been on the show, I told him that you've got all kinds of action figures.
Here comes the pitch.
We're going out. No, it's not a pitch. But I didn't think that the first Justice League. I mean, it was all right.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's one blew it. It was like way better, than the first one.
Well, when he was allowed to tell his story, I mean, look what we have. It was wonderful. That's the thing. Anybody who ever works with Zack Snyder will say that not only is the man a genius, but they would work with him under any circumstances.
So basically, though, that to answer Ron's question,
yeah,
you got invited to go to Dubai because you're Darkseid.
Basically, yeah, because Comic-Cons happen all over the world, and it's a chance for fans to dress up and just let the freak flag fly, and you go and sign autographs.
I think I'm going to write a script, Light Side, and I'm going to play Light Side.
I think that's a fabulous idea.
I get to go to Dubai.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and has way better skin.
Were you a superhero? Like, were you a fan of superhero stuff?
No, I never was. I always had respect for comics, and I had a lot of friends who collected them, but it was never really my thing. I grew up in a house of New York actors, and so I was listening to jazz and opera my entire life. And comic books were like, I kind of was aware of them, but it wasn't a thing really. And it was, it wasn't until much later when I realized just how important it is to so many people. And I respect it a lot, but I was woefully ignorant. And so when the movie came out and I had comic book fans coming up and asking me really in-depth questions about this character, I had to study because I just didn't. I mean, I was an actor playing a scene, but for them, there's history and weight to this stuff that, it's like 20 years of doing Shakespeare taught me that people will bring their expectations and they will ask you stuff based on their knowledge of it. And it may not be the same as yours. It's like me, I was out there, trying not to get hit by the sword and remember my lines, but for them, it's a whole other thing.
No, I was the president of my comic club. Like my neighborhood, we had a comic book club. I was the president of the comic book club.
See, that's what I mean. People who are devoted to it are really devoted to it.
As a kid, I was really all about Marvel. As an adult, I'm way more about DC for some reason, and especially Batman. Like I have like all kinds of cool Batman shit.
Oh yeah, I do still have my old Corgi Batmobile from when I was a kid.
I have one. Yes,
yeah,
I have.
I always loved Batman. Yeah.
So what about though? Then do you? Because I know that you have 2 Funko Pops.
Yes.
And then, but I, because I was like looking at Walmart and they have Darkseid. You know, they have other Darkseids from the Justice League movie. So it would have to be. It doesn't say Zack Snyder's though, so I don't know if it's the same thing. I mean, it looks the same.
It should be.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that.
It should be. Yeah. or you know what? Next time, you're in town or something, I'll just bring you one.
That's okay. Next time I'm gonna bring them. Next time I'm in town, I'm gonna call you and we're gonna like go to your house so you can sign them off.
Sign everything for you gladly.
I told you it was a pitch.
No, I love this shit. I was super excited. So you guys, we were at this thing on Saturday. Sean Cannon's book signing. Wait. Let me just finish this.
But you're going to go in a long play. I want a quick question, quick answer.
Okay.
Where are you from in New York? Manhattan?
That's not.
I was born at Manhattan Lying In Hospital and lived in Lincoln Towers until I was 2. So right off of West End there, and then moved to Kokomo, Indiana.
Oh wow, what a big difference!
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a culture shock for me. I was 2, but
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why you don't have a New York accent.
That's why I don't have a New York accent.
Yeah, you definitely don't.
I was wondering why you didn't.
So I was okay. So we met him and he had long hair and he was at the thing and I didn't know who he was. I didn't know that he was Darkseid, but all these people were walking up to him and like taking pictures with him. So I just walked up to him and said, "I don't know who you are." I was like, "But you got to be like fucking somebody because everybody's coming up to you." And that's how we started talking. And I invited him to come on the show. So how long have you been acting?
Glad to be here. Sorry, I have been acting since. I mean, I went to college for it. I got a degree from Cal Arts in acting, and thank God I've been able to keep the wolf away from the door just by being an actor since I graduated.
Good for you.
About 6 months after I got out of school, I was invited to come and work at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. Told everybody I'd be back to LA in 6 months. That was in 1990, and my last season in Ashland was 2008. So I was doing Shakespeare for almost 20 years, and I would come down here occasionally in the off season and work, TV shows and that kind of thing. But I was doing classical theater the whole time.
So they call you an overnight sensation.
Yes, exactly.
That's me.
Exactly. Right.
I've been 64 years, and now I'm making 1 million movies, and they said Ron Russell, the overnight sensation.
The overnight. Exactly. It's a Cinderella story.
60 friggin' 4 years later. Can you imagine?
Well,
I'm late.
Sometimes. There's. Is it Astro?
Astro.
Yes, that's Astro.
My son.
He's wonderful. He's wonderful. Hello, Astro.
We have three rescue dogs. He's a rescue dog.
Hello, Astro.
Ray. Hi, Ray.
How's it going? Looking fabulous. I must say, I like the cut of your jib, Astro. I enjoy those whiskers.
Yeah, he looks like you.
Yeah, he's got a gray beard, a white beard.
Yeah.
So let me do some bragging for you real quick. You guys, some of the TV shows you could have seen Ray on: 911, Naomi, Animal Kingdom. We have friends on that. The Kids Are All Right, Modern Family, The Mentalist, Shameless, Sons of Anarchy, Justified, The Closer, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Southland, CSI, Monk, Medium, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Dragnet, In-Laws, Will and Grace, ER, Frasier, Murphy Brown. I know there's more. I just wrote down the ones everybody knows.
Wow, that is my back catalog. That's something else. It's funny. My friend comments on this all the time. It's like I'll go months without a job, and then I'll be on something that's significant. You know what I mean? Like Murphy Brown or something like that. It's fun.
I suffered during COVID because we had so many productions that do, and they were on hold, and it was murder being a year without really having anything. And now I'm happily being pleased. Happy. How many movies do I have? About six or seven movies.
Incredible.
I'll be working for the next year straight without stopping. So it is, in our business, it is feast or famine.
It truly is. It truly is. Now, for me, narrating audiobooks. This is my studio. This is where I do audiobooks.
You do audiobooks?
Yes.
Yeah, I narrate audiobooks, and so I was able to work all through the pandemic because I have a home studio. So
You have
it was.
to know my friend Barbara Rosenblatt.
Sure, I do. Of course, yes, very talented.
Barbara is the ¡1 female. She did Barbara Streisand's book. Barbara Rosenblatt is called the Queen of Voiceover.
Absolutely, she's a giant without question.
We've been friends for like 20-something years.
Amazing.
She's a good gal.
Yes,
well, it's a tiny world too, you know. I mean, this. It's like there's, I used to say there's 11 actors basically. You meet an actor that you've never met before, and within 5 minutes you realize you know 5 of the same people.
Right.
Actually, B. Claudia from Germany is writing in the chat room that you've written over 300. I mean, that you've narrated over 300 books.
Yeah, almost 500 at this point.
18 seasons with the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, and then she wrote a quote: "The biggest of actors is when they start to get very pleased with themselves because they're actors. Having something else that will keep you a bit humble is a good thing." Ray Porter. And you have multiple earphones awards. She's like, she's awesome.
Like serious business, man.
She's like the best.
Well, I was in Barbara Rosenblatt's apartment, and she had a shelf put around the living room, and that living room has audiobooks that go completely around, and then one wall is all of the awards that she's won.
She's won so many awards, and I mean she's a major figure in this. Yeah,
I don't think she has room anymore for her audiobook awards.
And too, she was in Orange Is the New Black, like the first 2 seasons.
Yeah,
right.
The main character, like a big character.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
She was years ago. I founded Have a Heart, which was a benefit for AIDS.
Right.
And Barbara Rosenblatt worked in my benefit so many times because she sings,
Sure.
And she was a good performer. So Barbara Rosenblatt is really a darling person and very dear to me.
That's wonderful. Yeah, we had at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, we had the Daedalus Project, which was a thing we would do as a fundraiser for AIDS and HIV. We'd have panels of the quilt come in. I was the MC for a number of years.
And all the money that we collected from our shows, we gave to the Elizabeth Foundation for AIDS Research.
Yeah.
Not AMFAR, because AMFAR was doing salaries of $100,000, and we thought we're not breaking our asses to make them rich.
No, the money in ours was split between the Rogue Valley AIDS organization, which was where we were in the Rogue Valley in Oregon, and Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS.
Oh, I have an award from Broadway Cares.
I'm not surprised.
Got for me. Would you believe her name keeps coming up? She comes to my house and she said, "Ronala, I have something for you." I said, "What, darling?" She said, "Look," and it says, it's my real name, Ron Sorego. His outstanding work for Broadway Cares. It's a round glass.
Beautiful.
And I was so thrilled that she posted.
He's still thrilled. He shows it there.
Yeah, it's on my copy.
Yeah. Oh, it's something to be proud of, without question.
She put my name in. I never did it. She said, "This guy has got to get an award because of all the hundreds of thousands of dollars he's raised." I did drag. I impersonated Jane Russell.
Yes.
And our show was all female impersonators who sang in their own voice. It was a beautiful show. It wasn't cheap.
That was, and I don't want to date you, but that was pre-Stonewall days, was it not?
During and after.
Okay. Yeah.
It was years. Yeah, a long time.
I mean, that's what a time to be in the village.
Well, I'm 82.
He's 82. I don't know if you knew how old he is. He's 82.
So I've been around a long time.
Well, you're well cared for.
Well, Franklin Delano Roosevelt
signed
my birth certificate.
Thank you. Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed your birth certificate.
So I have this on my birth certificate, which is really like having Abraham Lincoln on your birth certificate.
So you do other things besides acting too, though, because I wrote down, unless it's incorrect, that you were the first AD on Argo. Are you in Argo?
No, the character I played was first AD.
Oh, the character you played.
Yes, I played a first AD on Argo.
Oh my God, I thought that you were the first AD.
No. I was an actor.
I've seen that movie a bunch of times.
Well, at the very beginning when they introduced John Goodman's character, we're on a film set at Warner Brothers in the 70s, and it's a sci-fi film, and the actor has a problem with his makeup, and I get John Goodman, and Goodman and I are walking in, and I'm explaining what the situation is to John and how bad this actor is and all that. So yeah.
Argo, Ben Affleck, Alan Arkin, Victor Garber, John Goodman, Bryan Cranston, Leah Oh, Clea Duvall, Tate Donovan. It was a huge one. I think it got an Academy Award nomination. Or
Sure did.
I learned something from Lara Spencer of ABC Good Morning News a long time ago. She said, whenever you mention a name, let people know. We mentioned Barbara Rosenblatt. She played Mrs. Metcalf in Quick Run. The way music, she ran the whole play.
Mm-hmm.
Secret Garden. Barbara Rosenblatt was Mrs. Metcalf in Secret Garden.
There you go.
So now, for those of you out there who don't know who she is, now if you've seen Secret Garden, you know who.
And you can look her up on Audible and download some of her titles because she is a legend in audiobooks.
The sexiest voice in the world. She smokes, and I tell her, Barbara, don't smoke. You're going to wreck your voice, as she lights up. And she has a sultry, sexy voice that relaxes you, puts you in a very relaxed state. How's your voice? You do different voices or yours?
I do different voices. And I mean, when I'm narrating books, it's, if the character is from a certain place, I try to do the dialect. I'll do different. You
play all the parts like she does?
Yeah, you play all the parts.
She plays all the parts.
Yeah,
too.
That's exactly right.
Now you won awards, right? Many awards.
You know something? I've won a lot of earphones awards. I just won an audio award last year for Audiobook of the Year for a thing I did called Project Hail Mary. And it also won in the sci-fi category. And I have a trophy from like the Voice Arts Awards from a few years back. Not like a lot of my friends. I was able to call a couple of my friends and go, because the trophy is like this delta shape. And I called when I've got triangles in my house now too, because these guys have got, the side of their house is sagging from all the awards.
But the award party, I was Barbara's date for one of the award parties we went to.
Oh,
and they were, and
was that in New York?
In New York,
that would be the Audies. That would be the Audie Awards. Yeah,
the biggest one, right? Isn't that the biggest one?
That's the one.
I was her date, and it was a really fun. I think it was an afternoon affair, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been late afternoon, but it was really a fun thing. And I've met all these interesting people and all the people that do voiceovers, and they all have beautiful voices. The room was filled with lovely sound.
Sonorous. Yes, exactly.
The voices are sometimes, I was at a Comic-Con in Orlando called MegaCon, and like the voice actor people, like they had bigger lines than the movie stars did.
A lot of them do. Because
I didn't even know who the people were. I had to go find out who they were. So,
and a lot of voiceover, a lot of actors have said, my survival is voiceover. If it weren't for voiceover, I would be old and poor.
Yeah.
And they really, voiceover, you could be any age.
You can be any age, and and what's great is you have the benefit of being able to walk down the street without interruption. You know what I mean? Because nobody recognizes your face.
You do female voices too?
I do. Yeah. That's been an ongoing struggle for me, is to try to do it right, because you get it a little bit wrong and you sound like you're pandering, and, and I mean, it takes a while. You get to where you realize I've met women with lower voices than mine.
Wow.
And so it's less about timbre and more about the character.
I did Jane's. I sing in a woman's voice, and I talk in a woman's voice when I perform.
Incredible to me that you sing in a woman's voice. I mean, that's just yeah.
No.
He hasn't done it in 30 years. So.
I'm looking for trouble, and I don't care what the people say. It doesn't matter what the people say, what the people say, what the people say. I'm gonna find me a lover, one in his prime, one who could show Jane a real good time. and had to lose my New York Brooklyn by accent because I play mafia.
But he also looked like her.
Yeah,
just like her.
But I play mafia in all the movies. I mean, I play, tough guy, always the rough, tough killer.
Sure.
So for me, it was wonderful going out and performing as a sexy, beautiful Jane Russell. And then the next day being in a movie, like I was in Charlie's Angels, and I played a detective.
I don't know if you can see this or not. Let's see. Not really, but
okay. Hold on a minute. Let Grandma put on the glasses here.
Actually, Juan, do you have the picture from last week still that we put up there, Juan? I don't know if Juan's got it, but we had a picture last week of him that we showed.
Well, that's fantastic.
when I had at one point I had Jane came to my house for dinner, and I never really discussed too much about my impersonating her because I thought she would be offended.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we were best friends, we never got there. She's for some reason she avoided that conversation, and I said to her, Jane, because of you, I couldn't do you. Therefore, not raise the money we raise for the people who need. So indirectly, you gave us all these hundreds of thousands of dollars to help find a cure for AIDS.
That's a fantastic way of thinking about it.
Christian, she was a very devout Christian. That moved us so deeply that she said to me, Ron, I thank you so much for impersonating me, and I'm very honored and flattered. So then she opened up about it. Because for years I wondered, why doesn't she ever mention my impersonating her, ever? She didn't like me as a woman. She liked me as a man.
Mm-hmm.
Because, her values were different than...
I get that. I get that.
My sister saw a picture of me as Jane Russell, and my sister turned to me and she said, thank God Mama and Papa are dead. So,
well, it was a different time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, Juan.
You know what I mean? And my sister didn't get it that I do that as a career.
That's
there you
amazing.
go.
That's
there
amazing.
he is. Now you can see it.
Yeah, that's me.
Good job, Juan. Thank you.
That's amazing.
But I don't.
You look like you should be painted on the nose of a B-25. Look at you.
But the people don't understand. I never lived as a woman. I don't dress as a woman. It was a part you play. It was
a performance. It was a role you played. Yeah.
Exactly. To raise money for my people who were dying like flies one after another. And I had to do something because I lost so many friends. And
I think about it I think about so many of my friends, and I always, without getting too morose, I always think about all of the performances I'm never going to see, or the songs I'm going to hear, or the the jokes, or the plays that are being written. And, we lost the best and brightest of a generation.
Talent. So my best friend, Tommy, who I grew up with, he was dying from AIDS. And I was with him one day and I said, gee, Tommy, I wish there was something I could do for you. He said, you can. He said, go out there and impersonate, because he knew I did, Jane. He said, and raised money for AIDS. And I said, that I'll definitely do. And I did it.
That was very cool. Okay, so we've got 7 minutes left. I want to ask you some hypotheticals.
7 minutes to heaven. All right, let's go.
7 minutes to heaven. First of all, real quick, did you have fun doing the Runaways? Because like the real,
I did.
I actually love everybody in it. It was Kristen Stewart. Nice. She's like one of my favorite actresses.
Yeah, I had to flip a cigarette into her face about 12 times.
I'm gonna watch it again now because I'm actually and now I forgot her name. What's oh fuck? Who's the blonde?
I'll tell you.
Dakota Fanning.
Lita Ford. The real
and Cherie Curry. Yeah,
they're both friends of mine. I'm
right.
With both.
You had mentioned that. Yeah.
So it's so cool to have the real ones in it that you were in. All right.
That was one of the strangest things, real quick, on that day when we were shooting, because Dakota came in for kind of a costume check. So she's done up like Cherie Curry, and right behind her was Cherie Curry.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah, that was amazing.
I would love that. All right. So hypothetical, you've already done a lot of really cool shit. Male and female actor that you would like to work with that you haven't worked with. And the second part of the question is, if you could have ever been in any movie that's ever been made, what movie would you have liked to have been in?
Oh, that's a tough one. I would say if I could pick any actor that I would really, really, really kill to work with is David Strathairn.
Oh, yes.
Who is one of the finest actors that I've ever seen. I admire him so much. I admire his work so much. I would kill to do something with him. If I could have,
and that's a really good one, because I think that I loved him ever since I saw him in Sneakers.
Go back. There's a movie that John Sayles directed back in the 80s called Matewan, about the coal mining wars in West Virginia. He's genius in it, and everything else I've ever seen him in, he is absolutely flawless. His economy, you never smell him acting. I love him so much.
He's very good. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
Okay,
female. Boy, there's a lot. My goodness. Wow.
There are.
You can pick more than one if you got a couple that come to your head.
I got a few that come to mind.
Sophia Loren, how about that?
That's
Sophia
Ron.
Loren, I mean, come on. You know, I probably would just be sitting there with my jaw dropped the whole
I
time.
worked with her back in '59.
Amazing.
And she's
Amazing.
wonderful. I love her.
Yeah, that's the thing is there's so many brilliant actresses just through history that I mean, would I love to work with them? And I have to clarify that with, could I reasonably function if I was on the same set as them?
Meryl
You know what I mean?
Streep.
Helen Mirren would be someone.
Yes, I agree.
We love it.
Obviously Meryl Streep, you know, sure. I mean, there's so many. And again, actors as well.
Judi Dench.
Judi Dench is incredible. Yeah, totally.
Judi Dench was the one I would really like to meet.
I mean, so many actresses.
Which I like. Okay,
Yeah.
so
There's a new young one out there. Her name is Michelle Dockery.
Dockery.
Do you know who she is?
He
Brilliant.
loves Dockery.
That's my dream. I'm telling Jimmy to put her in one of his films. Are you doing vapors?
It's bad
I
for
am.
you.
Oh, don't do that.
It's bad for you.
Better than cigarettes.
No, nothing. Your lungs need air. It makes cottage cheese or popcorn.
Not if you get the right stuff.
That's actually true.
No,
Anyway, we only have 3 minutes, and I don't want to spend it on his cottage cheese.
No, I'm upset because I like him.
I'm terribly sorry. I tell you what, I will not when I'm around you, Ron. Out of respect.
No,
he's doing it for your health.
No,
he's telling you for your
I
health.
don't give a shit. But for your health, you're a nice guy. I want you to be as old as me one day. You know, take care of yourself.
So wait,
and you know what? You're very handsome. What do you look like without all that shit on your face?
Like a leprechaun. The only reason why I grew a beard is I have no chin and I've got to be able to put a pillow back in a pillowcase.
Do you watch Yellowstone?
I haven't seen Yellowstone yet. I don't get to watch a lot of stuff because I'm so busy all the time, but it's something I'd love to be on. I certainly look the part.
No, you should get on it. But the girl, I don't even know her name, but the girl who's Kevin, what's his name? Kevin
Costner.
Kevin Costner's daughter. I think she's probably one of the best I've ever seen in my life. She is so freaking good. She should win everything. All right, but what movie would you want to be in?
Casablanca.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Great choice.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to shave.
Ingrid Bergman, but with Ingrid Bergman.
With Ingrid Bergman, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's just a film that, you know, what else would I like to be? The Barbra Streisand film, the comedy What's Up, Doc, with Ryan O'Neal.
Really?
Would love to have been involved in that. The In-Laws, Peter Falk and Alan Arkin.
Well, how about?
Would love to have been a part of that. You know.
What was the Anne Bancroft film, Third Avenue? What was it with Jack Lemmon?
Oh, yeah. Prisoner of Second Avenue? Was that?
Prisoner of Second Avenue.
Prisoner of Second Avenue.
Yeah, you know your shit.
I love that film.
I grew up with, it's the people I grew up with, you know. I ended up with this vocabulary. I mean, my mother and father came from New York. They're actors. They move into this small town in Indiana. And so my formative memories are my mother and my father and their friends, a bunch of, you know, local like guys, all gay men, sitting around having drinks and talking about all of this kind of stuff. And this is the earliest stuff that I remember. So I didn't have the same sort of vocabulary going into school that a lot of my contemporaries did. In fact,
I remember
everybody tells him he talks like he's from an old Hollywood movie. He even said, when he's thirsty, he doesn't say I'm thirsty. He says I'm parched.
I'm parched.
No, but my mother was silent movie actress Jenny Gabriel.
We got 1 minute.
So I grew up with Hollywood.
Yeah.
I Gloria Swanson when I was 9 years old, watching a Valentino movie at the museum in New York. And I remember going to school and saying that I had just met Gloria Swanson. And the teachers reported me to the principal that I was delusional.
There you go.
The kids didn't even know who she was. So growing up in a theatrical household was not.
You and I have to have a long conversation about this. My grandfather was one of the founding members of the Lambs Club in New York.
Okay.
So, you know, theatrical press agent, also with the circus for a number of years and all that. And I know we're pressed for time, but this is we'll put a pin in
We'll
this
bring
and
you
discuss
back,
it
and we'll
later.
just bring you back. So everybody follow Ray Porter on Instagram. He's at the.ray.porter. On Twitter, he's at Ray_Porter. We want to thank you so much for coming on the show. It was
Thank
a
you
highlight.
for having me, gentlemen. What a privilege. Thank you.
Got to talk to you now. I didn't at the thing because I was all over the place.
You
and
had
I love Linda.
yes.
Linda, the soap opera actress, not Linda.
No, not
Right.
Lynn.
Time.
We
Anyway,
got to go anyway.
I was bit with her. Anyway,
It's
Ray,
all good.
we'll see you
Ray,
in
we'll
town.
see you in town. We'll see
We'll
you
see
soon.
you in
town. I look forward
Thank
to
you
it.
so much for coming on the show. We so
Wonderful
appreciate it.
holiday. Are you
Thank
Christian?
you. Merry Christmas to you. Have a brilliant
Merry
and a happy
Christmas.
new year, and yeah, have all of the fun
We'll
and
be
eat
in
all of the
touch.
good food except the sugar.
That's
Yes.
right.
Merry-
Thank you so much. All right.
Merry Christmas, Ray.
Bye, Ray.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you. Congratulations on everything.
What a nice
Thank
guy.
you.
Absolutely.
What a sweetheart of a guy, folks. What a nice guest.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week for the Christmas
Yes,
show.
Christmas
it's gonna
show.
Be a lot of fun.
All
Thanks
our
for tuning
friends
in,
are popping
everybody.
in
Talk
and
to you later.
out and in to say Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Can turn out to be so wrong. Yeah, we in the mix. Yeah, we in the mix. It's another episode. Here we go. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Interviewing the hottest, newest, and truest of today's celebrities. Make sure to subscribe so you can get notified weekly. Jimmy Star, he's the king of cool. Ron Russell, he's a gorgeous dude. Chat room is live and you would be a fool not to vibe with us at the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Come watch it live on W4CY Radio. Miss some past episodes, download on iTunes. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. It's the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell.